see. Okay, cool. We're live. Thanks everybody for coming. See a bunch of new faces out here. A lot of good conversations to start off. It sounded like. Welcome to Decontrol. For those of you who's new here, throw up a hand. Sweet, nice. For some context, it's a hackerspace. It's been around since 2014. And we've had a lot of influential figures through here, through crypto. And yeah, it's just a really cool vibe to have this space. We've been running ETH Vancouver for about 3 years now, or just over that. And ETH Vancouver, every week, we usually have a presenter talk about some topic crypto related. Or we have a panel or some other get together. But this week we have Ash, who's gonna talk to us about X402, kind of the intersection of AI and crypto. And I'll let you take it away. Oh, yes, sorry. For questions, we are streaming. It's really frustrating for people watching if they can't hear your questions. So there's microphones on chairs around you. You can just hold on the button, turn it on, and we'll have a light on, and then you can talk. So please use those for questions. And yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming. Thanks for taking the time. And in a few weeks, Eric's gonna come and give a better understanding of 402 in a technical way. And this is gonna be more like a high level, what are the opportunities and practical applications and stuff like that. So we're gonna first talk about, okay, why on earth does an agent or AI even need a wallet? And the problem breaks down to these reasonings, at least to me. It's one is well, people are just lazy. They're not gonna want to do things by themselves. And if the agent can do it, the agent's gonna end up doing it. And to be able to do it, they're gonna need tools. Today we take it for granted that a lot of the capabilities these LLMs have in these platforms we use, they're actually using tools, and the LLM by itself can execute things like web search, filling forms, any task that kind of requires a tool. And to be able to integrate those tools, the platforms kind of need to make these B2B deals of who gets to be the tool provider, or the developer themselves have to kind of pre-configure things, or your agent kind of needs to go out there and figure out how the hell am I gonna do this. So the more we see that people are gonna go to Perplexity, GPT, and these platforms instead of Googling things, the more agents need to have more capabilities, and those capabilities relies on the tools, not just how good the LLM is. Because you could have AGI tomorrow, but without it having access to things, it's not going to be able to do much. In fact, without a UI, you won't even see what it's thinking. So if your agent wants to go out and do it by itself, right now it needs to have computer use, which means a browser environment where it could interact with the web. And it needs to be able to fill a form to create an account and pass CAPTCHA and do authentication. And then it also needs to have a credit card to top up its balance with some credits and generate an API key and then configure the API key somehow without publicly exposing it. Super risky stuff. I wouldn't trust an agent with my API key or my credit card. And there's a lot of room for hallucination because all these platforms have different forms, ways of signing up, places that they need to generate their keys and so on. So this is where the X402 solution comes into play. And if you really want to have maybe even it's not going to be X402, but we need some form of wallet or payment system for these LLMs to be able to do this task in an easier way. And if an agent needs to be autonomous, it needs to be able to handle things by itself. And here's a little clip I like from Eric.
And that web search is a thing that ChatGPT or Claude or all these other good providers can do. It's actually a tool. And right now you need to add each tool to your agent one by one. There's no kind of discover everything. AI agents.
So that's kind of the gist of it. And here's Rick explaining it.
Morty, you don't understand. X402 is the true path to agentic autonomy. It's the way agents will be able to pay for their own inference, setting off a cycle of self-improvement, trajecting toward AGI. You mean...
So that's like the gist of it. And so, so what's X402? It's basically like utilizing the 404 HTTP status code, which is like banned on the internet. It's a standard HTTP call that happens just like we have 200, which is success, or 404 page not found. It's a standard web protocol. So X402 is utilizing that to bring the payment required 402 call to actually work. And right now it's doing it with like micropayments over stable coins, but it's trying to expand to support fiat or so on and so forth, like to be chain agnostic and work with other tokens. But essentially what it does is that it has like these second order effects where it's like it's making micropayments possible. It's getting rid of the API key and standardizing the call. And it's letting the agent have that autonomy it needs by being able to pay and execute the task it wants. So how it works is like, shout out Bill Ackman, clients kind of like calling the servers like, hey, can I have this information? Or can I use this tool? Can I have that data? Can I play this song? Can I watch that video? Whatever it might be. And the server is like, yeah, sure you can, but you gotta pay me this much. So after the client makes the call, the server returns with like, here's what I'm expecting from you. These are the supported payment methods, whatever chain it might be, whatever token it might be. And then once the agent makes that payment or the client makes that payment, it gets to access the tools or services. It's had a pretty good month. It's had close to 50 million transactions and $30 million in volume. Had a really cool YC hackathon that was with Anthropic, OpenAI, Replit, Stripe, Visa, and Google. This was my favorite thing that came out of it. It's like a Monopoly game where Claude, Grok, DeepSeek, and GPT were playing Monopoly together. You can scan that QR code to check it out. And there's some like non-agentic opportunities. We're not going to go too deep into it, but because of the second order effect of micropayments being a reality, now you could like literally just offer products and services that you couldn't do before. Because with the traditional payment rails, it's like if you ever done a SaaS, you would notice like 2.9% for transaction fee plus 30%. Like you can't sell anything for $1. You'd be losing money. So one opportunity there is like literally just you're finally able to create ephemeral products that are not gonna like, you're not building them to last. It's like something you just might want to have for a day. So like a ridiculous idea is this Halloween nano banana cam where you could just take a photo for like 2 cents and it would turn you into a Halloween character. That's not something I want to do for a year, but now I could like have a micro SaaS for a day. And it's like zero upfront cost. So like if I was to run something like this, I don't have to, oh my God, worst image to possibly be on. But if I want to run something like this, now I don't have to like go estimate, okay, how much money do I need to top up on like FAL or AI gateway on Vercel or like whatever the platform provider is. I'm actually going to just like charge on top of what my inference cost is. So like, let's say I know the cost is going to be 1 cent per image. I'm going to charge customers like 1.2, like 12 cents instead of, so like basically what I'm trying to say is like, as you're selling, you're actually making your cost back. So your margin's like cooked into the product itself. So all I have to do is like literally just cover the first 5 calls and it would be a flywheel of its own. I don't have to like maintain that. I don't have to check my balance, set up like top it up if it reaches this amount or whatever. And what I'm really excited about, which is also not to do with agents, is how it could battle subscription fatigue. Like tools like what I showed you is not going to be something I want to subscribe to for a month. And it's going to be a hard sell. So like you're just like also lowering the barrier of ask when you're like, hey, I'm not asking you to subscribe for $25 a month to make 5 Halloween images. You could just pay as you go. And what that means is that I'm also not trying to burn my capital and my runway, subsidizing usage for you to fall in love with my tool and then have this really weird upsell tactics of like remove the watermark or whatever. So something like CapCut is like, I can't wait for them to implement. PaperGo is like, okay, I just want to remove this one background. Don't make me subscribe. Just ask me for $5. So this is an opportunity there. We're not going to go into all of them, but we're... Yeah.
Hey. What do you think about pricing with that? Because like, I when you explain that, I'm thinking, okay, the closest thing that we probably have to that right now is like on Amazon Prime. If I want to watch a movie or whatever, I can buy it or I can subscribe for whatever. Usually buying it is pretty expensive.
Yeah, it's like more expensive than subscription.
Yeah, so do you think that like this might cause the price per usage to go up? And like subscriptions are maybe a cheaper option if you're doing it? I mean,
companies are totally going to do that. I think like that's going to be a thing. And like whoever is like going to be providing API endpoints, they're going to charge more on pay-per use cases as opposed to if you subscribe. And I experienced that firsthand using like Cloud Code. Like if you're paying with your API key, you're going to get wrecked. So do yourself a favor and just subscribe. But yeah, I guess it's the difference, like how much do I need to use this as a customer? Oh, you got it.
Hello, is it working? So when you say people will pay per use, like 0.8 cents there, how are they paying? How do you envision them paying? Are they going to use a crypto wallet? Are they going to use Visa? Like, what are they using to do that?
Yeah, so like ideally, I think it'd be wonderful if like browsers just have their own wallet and don't expect people to download browser extensions and like wallets become a native thing. But also like as 402 expands,
like a browser crypto wallet, right?
Stable coins
and
stable
stuff.
coins and like like the end consumer wouldn't know it's stable coins. It's just gonna be dollar to them. So that's one ideal thing, at least for me, because I hate liquidity fraction. Like it's like, okay, every website I'm going as a crypto user, I have to now top up this new wallet. Let's just unify that. But no one's gonna do that because they all want to have monopoly over the wallet. So, but like, yeah, as X402 expands, hopefully it's gonna be like fiat based as well. So you could just like top up with Apple Pay, or we're gonna have like payment rails where you have an agent-owned credit card that linked to the user. So like the agent credit card, I think that's something Visa's working on right now with their intelligence commerce, is that my agent's card is not like an unidentified rogue thing like a wallet. And it could go out in the world, accrue debt using stable coins to pay for micropayments. And once that adds up to a meaningful bill, like let's say $10, $20, $100, then the actual user ends up settling it after the math. You good? All right. So the like opportunities for agentic commerce in this 402 world, should it pick up? So like with the agentic payments, like the most obvious thing obviously everyone thinks about is like, okay, people are gonna shop things through ChatGPT. And that's kind of already happening. I think Perplexity is getting sued by Amazon actually because of it. Someone bought something from Amazon through Perplexity. Don't quote me on this. I think they're getting sued. But it's gotta like be figured out. So that's like an obvious path. Everyone's working on it. It's like, okay, how do we build an app for ChatGPT where consumers can buy things through it, book their flight through it. When they're looking for a shoe, find it, one-click checkout. But there's this whole other side of it where it's like all these agents, as we talked about, they're going to need tools. And all those tools are going to be, as we think, it's going to be paid resources. So what are the most commonly used need tools today? And that's one opportunity you could go after. So file converters are freaking massive, and LLMs cannot do any of them. So all you have to do is literally go to any SEO platform that helps you find like keywords, Ahrefs or like SEMrush, and like find the most commonly used tools. And I have like a list of 100 plus of these. I think at the end I'll share with you, but it's like, okay, I want to just convert MP4 to MOV. I want to convert PNG to JPEG. There is millions of these things, and that's something you could do. So for like 1/10 of a cent, your tool can do this for the LLM. And next time you ask your ChatGPT, it's not going to say, oh, I can't do that. Here's a 3,000 page PDF of how you can go do it. But it would just do it and cover the cost. The other opportunity is like a done for you type of service where you would set up like a third-party SaaS, helping these companies that already have these endpoints go on becoming a platform that could also serve agents and not just humans or developers. And we have some of these examples like Proxy402, MCPay, Nexus by ThirdWeb. But there's going to be like I think an opportunity to just be like the wrapper where you would just like go to these companies. We're like, hey, we're going to help you cater to this new customer demographic who are not people, but they're AI. And another opportunity here is like a lot of the big companies, they don't have their own bot protection services. They outsource that to another SaaS company. So I don't want to name it company, but like let's say like PetSmart. I don't know. They probably have a bot protection company. They don't have an in-house solution for their site not being taken down by bots. So what you could do is like, hey, here's a bot protection service, but we're actually not going to charge you for it. And what you do is like monetize on the protection. So when a bot wants to crawl that site, you're like, sure, you're welcome to, as long as you pay me 10 cents. So you still provide the crawler, anti-crawler service, but the value prop is like, hey, company X that is wasting like $1 jillion a month paying for these anti-bot services, you don't need to pay me that anymore. We'll provide it for free, but we'll monetize your data. So that's I think an interesting opportunity to go after. Okay, sweet, thanks. Another opportunity is like building the discovery layer for it and the reputation layer for it. So there's a lot of people thinking of what the solution is there. But I personally think like the facilitators are like the best positioned out there to do this. So when people, or just a TLDR on facilitators. So with X42, there's the option to have a third party handle the payment settlement. So when you're paying 1 cent, instead of you handling the settlement of that on chain, you could have a third party, quote unquote, the facilitator, handle that on your behalf. And a lot of people are like, me including, when I started, I was like, why on earth would someone cover the cost for that? And yeah, it doesn't really make much sense because you can't provide it as a SaaS model because they're all free. So if you start charging for it, they would just go to the next player. But when I was thinking about it, I think they're actually the best position to become the next Google for agents. So we take it for granted that whenever we do a Google search, that's actually costing Google money. Apart from like the compute and electricity cost, which is like a similar amount to like a good day of settling a transaction. This is like 0.001 or maybe 4 zeros one. I don't know what amount of dollar would that be, but if you consider like all the deals they have to maintain their position as the dominant browser search engine, that actually comes down all the way to like 1 cent or something like that. So if you think about it, it's a similar cost. And because they're the platform that everyone goes to for discovery, they get to define the rules of discovery. So all the SEO stuff, all the metrics is set by Google, whether that's domain authority, keyword relevance, backlinks. I'm not an SEO expert, but you name it. So the facilitator here in this scenario is the one that has the most data. It's like, okay, what endpoints being used most often? What's the rate of success? How many times is returning a 200? What's the latency of this endpoint? Because we know from like the facilitator standpoint, you could calculate all of this stuff. And so like from the endpoint standpoint, you're gonna start optimizing for these things as opposed to like your front end, your conversion rate for human consumer or devs or copyright or whatever, to focus on these metrics. But from the facilitator standpoint, you could take these metrics and create the next Google for Agent by creating this reputation system that becomes industry standard, and it does discovery that's not going to waste LLM's token, because today it's like they're just getting a list of all endpoints and they have to go out and figure it out. And the main thing that the space is going after, 8004, I personally don't see an economy in there. Like, why would my agent spend more tokens leaving a review of the endpoint it used? It like currently doesn't have an economy to my eyes, but maybe I'm missing something.
All right, what are you basing this off of though? Like, what made you think so much about this?
Well, like I work on X42 as like my I'm a DevRel at X42.
But just with the facilitators, like realizing that opportunity, how'd you piece that together mainly? Just because they're labeling it well?
Just thinking about this stuff day in, day out is like, hey, why are we not doing this?
I was thinking about this today though, because Adobe is gonna buy SEMrush, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
So
Adobe.
I was trying to figure out why more.
Why would they do that?
Yeah,
That's
and I think you're maybe explaining it, but I want to read more about this. So like, I just thought maybe you'd like base it off of something somebody had spoken about.
No, I was just like thinking about the inefficiency of the Bazaar, which is our discovery layer at Coinbase Developer Platform. Right now, the mechanism is that you just ask for something and it's just like, hey, here's a list of 2,000 endpoints, and your LLM fails to parse through that. And once you're at a place where this is like the way to do agentic commerce, that becomes impractical because there's going to be millions of lines that it's going to leave you with a large bill and a hallucinated AI. Did I lose you there?
No, I'm just thinking about it. I think what I've been thinking about is a little bit different though. I've just been thinking about like how distribution tails are changing because of search. I don't know, because of LLMs being used more than search, which is a kind of like conundrum though too. So I think it's relative though.
Yeah.
I'll send you something about it. We can talk later.
Yeah, they have like a name for that. Like instead of search engine optimization, like agent search optimization or something. There's
Yeah,
like
I don't know that much about that
SEO
stuff,
point
so.
two, or like there's different names for that. Normally what that entails is like if a human on ChatGPT searches for, I want to buy a shoe, what do I do for Nike to show up as a first result? What I'm talking about here is like in terms of like MCPs or tools and services that the AI needs to make on a back end. So it's like a different search and discovery than the one that most of the space is going after.
It's over finding the endpoints. It's like about discovery, so you're relaying without hallucinating.
For the use of tools,
Yeah, okay.
Tools and services for the LLMs, not the end human user.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I mean though.
yeah, and yeah, once you do that, then you can like also I guess become the next Ahref or SEMrush, but for this particular tool sets where the user is not going there to see what people are searching for, but you would go there to see what agents are searching for, so you could compete on those endpoints. So you have the same mechanism, but for different products. And the last one here is like an OpenAI alternative, or like not OpenAI alternative, like the LLM experience alternative, where instead of being a centralized platform that you're going out there and thinking of all the tools you need to make your platform better, you're kind of turning into a platform and a marketplace where you're opening the doors for all these tools to be submitted to your platform, and your role is becoming orchestration, curation. So I'm no longer gonna wait as, for example, OpenAI to do a partnership with a Shopify or Stripe or whatever to allow for commodity purchases. I would let whoever wants to submit that capability to my platform and create a competitive environment for the economy to take place of its own, and like so that the tools keep getting better and the prices keep going lower. Because right now, for example, if OpenAI wants to provide web search, I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they have an in-house tool, but they would go to a third party if they don't. So that would be either Firecrawl, Exa, Trolley, platforms like that to provide web search. In an alternative world, instead of that being a business development and partnership, you would just have an open platform where anyone can provide their own search, and depending on its reliability, speed, price, performance, it gets basically selected, kind of like a Darwinian type of platform that you just become a marketplace essentially. There are some good examples of this happening. One of them is this thing called QuestFlow. So you would like basically be able to, right now you have to like select the agents. So, okay, cool. They have Ahrefs there as well. But yeah, you could search the tools you want, and then I think you could get to only select up to 6 now. Shortly that would change. But yeah, like imagine a platform like this, but it happens dynamically instead of the user having to pick it. I'm sure they will get there as well. It's still relatively new. There's other examples like this. And so one path is like basically trying to replace the incumbents. The other path is like joining people where they're already at, which is normally my favorite way, is like don't swim against the tide. And an example of that is this payment MCP, for example, that CDP team put out, where you could add X42 capabilities to your LLM itself by just running a command. And here is a conversation. It's like, hey, can you, like, do you have a wallet? It's like, hey, this is my wallet. And it's asking it for like, okay, what are like the endpoints you have? And then it's asking it to use a particular endpoint to generate a video. So here is using a endpoint from Imagine, and it's generating a video with Sora, and it's coining it on Clanker, I think. Yeah, so Claude itself can't create videos, but the idea is like this X42, hopefully it will open a gateway for all these tools to be integrated. Instead of me having to go to my LLM and configure it with 1 million MCPs just to be able to have it to do anything I want, we have this payment MCP or whatever that future product's gonna be as a gateway to access all those endpoints. Another way to think about it is like, I want my browser to do everything. I don't want to download 1 billion Chrome extensions to be able to do everything I want. I just want one Chrome extension, and I want that to give me access to all the extensions out there. So that's the idea with payment MCP. Last thing I think is a good opportunity to look into is like the issue of scalability. So as this becomes a thing, you're gonna hit a place where the chain itself might not be able to handle the amount of transaction it needs to process. So one interesting solution I came across was called, I hope I'm not butchering the name, Semaphore Semaphore, is that how you pronounce that? Semaphore. And you could scan this QR code to find a solution and read on the exact mechanism. But since I'm not very technical, I'll just give you my understanding of it. So how I understood it is that instead of like settling every transaction as it comes, you are taking the permission of the spend, because every 402 is like, hey, you could have 1 cent. I'm giving you this permission through the call to take 1 cent from my wallet. And what they're doing is that they're putting all those permissions in an escrow off-chain, apparently using ZK, but apparently the ZK is optional. You don't need to use that or go that way. And then using batch transaction to settle them at once, which I thought it was an interesting solution. Another one that I came across was by Node and Edge, the people who were behind Graph. And they created a thing called deferred payment scheme, which is also interesting if you wanted to look more into it. But yeah, that's it. And any questions, I'll be happy to take. Otherwise, these are some resources. I'm trying to zoom in a way you could scan if you want it. So yeah, some X42 demos, you could go and like fork the documentation if you want to go learn more. Ecosystem, if you want to just check out what are like the live projects or add your own, and some ideas of what low lift endpoints you can make to start like having this side hustle, I guess.
Can you show the Monopoly game QR code
Oh
again?
yeah. So yeah, this was like the second place in the YC hackathon, and I think it's pretty awesome.
Did you go?
I wish. No, they didn't take me.
Was it in SF?
Yeah. Yeah, the QR code is here.
I can just find it on your Twitter too.
I think their site is just x402.com or x42monopoly.com. Yeah, x42monopoly.com. If you guys wanted to go check it out. Yeah, that's like another opportunity in this space, is also just building things for entertainment. Just like we had Alpha Arena, where agents were trading and people are like, whoa, this is crazy, it went viral. I hosted a poker game that did pretty well as well, and other people are making like similar games to it. X42 Monopoly did pretty great. But like things like this, I feel like closed systems, they don't need to use X402. Like when you have a closed system, it could just be like server wallets or whatever. But yeah, if you don't want to pay for gas, use 402. Just abuse the protocol as long as you don't have to pay for gas. You could like, yeah, that's I guess like a, yeah.
Could you explain a little bit about the 402 Monopoly? Like you had the video up there. But do you know like what's actually going on there?
I haven't had a chance to like look at the repo. I don't think it's like open sourced. But to my knowledge, it's like they're literally like taking turns as you would in a game of Monopoly. They're rolling a dice to see where they're landing on. Like as you see, like DeepSeek is like stationed here, and when another agent lands on your bot's land, then they have to negotiate. So, for example, Grok lands on a property that Claude owns, then it has to negotiate on a price, I guess, that it needs to pay for rent. And in this sense, it does make sense, because like, had this game been a platform where like OpenAI brought their own agent and Anthropic brought their own agent, then they need for like a payment method, whether that's AP2 or agentic commerce of Visa or like X42. They need a method to pay each other. But if it's like a closed loop like Alpha Arena or something that is like is not allowing for external participants, then it doesn't really make sense to do something like this.
So essentially they're like using some stable coin that's monopoly money, right?
I think it's
And they're
I think
sending
it's
this
just
back and
testnet
forth?
USDC. I highly doubt they put $1,000 on each.
Yeah. But like they are like making transactions, sending it to each other,
Yes.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
So if Grok lands on a property that Anthropic owns, Grok has to pay the Anthropic agent. So the Anthropic agent is going to be like, "Hey, Grok, you're welcome to stay here, but you got to pay $200 a night." No idea.
Cool. Any other questions out there?
How do you deal with fraud in X402?
I think that's where the reputation comes in as well, and escrow services and stuff like that. I think actually the creators, one of the companies that was they had their builder, is working on something like this. I haven't really checked out their project yet. I was planning to do so tonight, but there are different people who are working on stuff like solutions for exactly that, where you would somehow like not just facilitate the transaction as in settle it, but also oversee the transaction of value, not just the money.
Hey, do you know about Blink on the Tari network?
Blink I know from Solana, but not Terra.
No, that's Blink's. That's
Blinks.
from Solana,
Right.
and Blink is on the Tari network. And I was wondering if they use the X402 as well, because they are gonna set up. I mean, Blink is an AI private shopper.
Got you.
So I was wondering if they
Yeah,
use
please
that
send it to me. I
technique
haven't heard
or-
of Blink.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah.
haven't.
Yeah, it's on the Tari network, tari.com. Check it out, and I'll show you later.
Yeah, please.
So does X402, do you need to pay gas fees for it, or did you mention that you don't pay gas
You
fees?
could be your own facilitator. In that case, if you are handling the settlement of payment yourself, then yes, you do need gas. But there are free services that are called the facilitators you could use and not pay gas for the settlement.
Does it settle on like Base? Because I'm pretty sure like this is created by Base, or does it settle for? Is it a general purpose thing for all the blockchains, or?
Yeah. So like when it first came out, I think it was like in May, it was like only on Base and only worked with USDC. And people are still like think that's the case, but it's like it is expanded to other chains and protocols. So the token standard still right now is like whatever token has accepts 3009. But chain wise, like Andrew actually like just today he executed an X42 call on Hypercore, which is pretty sick. And whatever like chain is out there, I think it's like kind of also up to the people who are active on those chains to bring it there. And please submit PRs to the repo. It's open, it's public. We welcome it, and we'll add them to the ecosystem. So yeah, it's live on many chains right now. It's not just Base.
So I don't get it. Is it like a ERC or something, or
The-
does
the-
it call
the
an
token
does it
standard
call
that
an
I-
ERC? Or
Sorry.
does it call an ERC or?
I
I don't know.
So basically when you call an endpoint that is X42 enabled, it's gonna return with here are the payment methods I accept. Those payment methods are limited to tokens that functioned with the 3009. Now 3009 is not an official standard, so I can't say like
ERC 309, right?
3009.
Okay.
And that's just right now, but the V2 is gonna go live soon, and that's gonna enable other token standards as well. So like something like ETH, you could, like I don't know why would you want to transact in ETH, but you could do that.
Just as to that, X402 supports Solana as well.
Yes.
So Solana doesn't use ERCs. It uses its own
Yeah.
token standards. And as you said, X402 is just like a standard, like HTTP 200 redirect. Browsers know that when it sees 200, it redirects to this new URL. 300, yes, not 200, right? So X402 is just that. A question about, you mentioned earlier facilitators. Can you mention that you don't need to do, or you imply that you don't need to use a facilitator, that the server could just do it itself. I thought the X402 standard, at least all the like code I've seen, like assumes that there is a facilitator you like go and verify and then you settle with. But if I just do that like natively in my server, is that still X402 compliant?
Yeah. So they made the protocol in a way that the facilitator is optional. So you could be your own facilitator, or you could ask an external service to do that for you. Some of the folks I know who have their endpoints, they choose to be their own facilitator because, like, with these crazy spikes, you never know what facilitator is going to fail, for example. So they rather handle that by themselves.
I guess for me, like, first person doing the hypercore thing, so I am running my own facilitator, but I can just bake that into the same process as the server then.
Yeah,
just,
or become the facilitator on Hypercore.
Yeah. Okay, very cool. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't think there is any facilitators on Hypercore right now. So
yeah,
if you become one, submit a PR and we'll add you to the ecosystem.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Hell yeah.
As someone who's not at all a developer, who's like
me neither, bro. Like,
okay, like
I'm a product guy.
I'm genuinely like thinking like, okay, you've gone through the rundown, but okay, let me just say it like this. I would like to try to see if I even understood it. So X402, a protocol that allows AI agents to be able to basically conduct certain activities that the user or the person that owns those agents, just to allow them to execute these actions easier, cheaper. Is that kind of what the whole thing is about?
Yeah. So yeah. Basically, it's a payment protocol that is HTTP native, meaning like it's standardized. Now, it could be a human making that call, or it could be an agent. And this is not because of the protocol itself, but because it's on stablecoin rails, is super efficient in terms of transaction costs. So it makes micropayments possible, meaning you could sell cheaper products. Right. But that's not because of the X402 protocol itself. It's because it's using stablecoin rails. And the other question of like, okay, what is bringing to the table? It's back here when we were talking about, okay, say hypothetically, I was asking Claude right here to like generate a video. Yeah. For my Claude to be able to generate a video, it needs to have access to a service that generates video, because Anthropic right now doesn't provide that, right? So there are these different ways to do that. Either the human goes to this platform and adds an MCP server that is capable of generating a video, and it tells it to use this MCP server to generate me a video.
So
the
sorry.
The other method is like, instead of me doing it, I want my agent to do it. So if I want my agent to do it, then I need to equip it with an access to a browser. A browser environment where it could go create an account with a video service provider, like maybe Sora with OpenAI. So it needs to go to OpenAI. This one is actually more complicated. To do Sora, you also need to KYC. So you need to actually scan your license. So my agent needs to have access to a browser session, go create an account with OpenAI, pass CAPTCHA, create an account, top up my balance, KYC, scan my ID, somehow scan my face.
And right now, AI agents are just incapable of doing those.
You could probably do it. It's just going to be a lot of work, and it's not going to work on every platform, because it's going to change. Like what it's going to need to do on OpenAI to get the capability to generate video is not going to be the same if it went to Midjourney or FAL or.
And so. Just so the X402 is what would allow them to be able to.
It's allowing it to basically let the service provider be like, hey, here's a service if you're an AI agent that instead of going through this hurdle, pay me per request. So instead of having an account with me, I will just allow you to generate a video if you pay me this much for this one call. So our relationship is purely on the basis of transaction, where I give you the money on the API call itself, and you return with the tool services data API that I'm asking for.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense.
when Eric spoke about it too, he had a really good like quick kind of explanation. Was that like if an AI comes to a website like a service and it has a form to fill in your credit card information, what's it gonna do? Like you can't really get past that. So what this is just like a simple way that an AI can understand how to pay and pay it, and and just like a standardized way of paying for services.
So the missing thing is just the provider needs to implement this. The agent is not just going there, is like, hey, here's my money. The provider itself, maybe that's the thing that I should have mentioned, is that whoever is providing the video service, they need to have an X42 endpoint. So my agent doesn't go through this route, it goes to this different route where it's like just calling this API endpoint.
So like the provider and the service need to both be
So no, just the provider is like, hey, here's a payment option that is like, instead of the traditional method, now you could use this method.
We got a question from the chat or a comment.
No way. Let's go.
Can we talk about Dexter Agent? Dexter Agent is a top facilitator on X402. I don't know. Maybe this is just some random thing. But.
No. Like, I think I just saw it today. I haven't looked into it. I just saw because like I've seen a cartoon, so like I recognize the character. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That's what Tangled Lotus is saying. So.
Sorry to disappoint. I'll do my homework.
So you talked about using X42 to pay for software, but what about hardware? Because like as an agent, I would rather just rent all the compute in the world for a couple of nanoseconds and solve your problems than like paying people that run their own software.
So like basically like paying for your own compute, like not like actually getting the hardware shipped to you, right? Like just paying for
like renting
resources
from other people, like Vast AI or something.
Well, that's also another example of like tools or resources. I guess I could have emphasized resources as well, but essentially it's just a protocol payment that allows them to purchase whatever they need. I guess today's talk was more focused on tools and APIs, but it could be resources. It's like, hey, I need more GPU access to calculate this thing that is like too large, or
you can host like more agents. So your NZPs host more.
It could run its own agents. The agent can run its own agents. Yeah, or like just pay per data storage to have its own RAG. So instead of me setting it up, I'll just have it able to pay a database service, and it could form its own memory. It could be whatever. The point is like now they can pay for services that they might need, so that I don't need to go pre-configure it or equip it with all these crazy tools to go and equip itself. So it started with Coinbase Developer Platform, the folks I'm with, and it's moving to a foundation. So we're like trying to step back as much as we can and have this foundation that's going to be formed with Cloudflare, kind of steward the protocol. So it's like, yeah.
Does that have to do with why Cloudflare made a stablecoin?
I was like, is he gonna say, is that why it went down?
Oh no.
No, yeah, that maybe that contributed to the partnership. I'm not sure. I wasn't part of the talks there, but they had that before the announcement, I think, of the foundation being formed.
Yeah, I didn't know about the foundation. That's kind of cool because I know they just bought Replit too.
Yeah, I'm
cool.
excited about that. Like having all those endpoints available through 402 is gonna be nice.
That's what I'm kind of thinking. So. Yeah, it makes sense that people use this to run models, I guess. I could just, yeah. There's part, I don't think I can articulate what I'm thinking about that well, but I have a lot of questions about this. I think there's a lot of potential.
I bought Replit?
No, Cloudflare bought Replit.
Replicate.
Oh,
Not
Replicate. My bad. Replicate. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Mixed it up.
Yeah, no, Replicate. Replit would be awesome too.
So if you're just starting out learning, like I've heard of AI agents, never used one. I bought Ethereum though. but
Are you gonna ask, is it gonna pump my bags?
Yeah. Well, like one is like, can I even invest in something like this? But I doubt it. But two, you know, if I wanted to learn, because it's obviously AI, I think crypto will obviously at some point heavily. Where would I go and learn? How to get? I guess I'm just trying to. What are the first steps?
As like an investor?
As
Or
an
like-
investor, yeah, just learning how to use it. 'Cause I would assume my AI agent is a tool.
Yeah, so I mean, if you just want to utilize the endpoints, I think like the payment MCP is like the easiest way for you to do that. I actually endpoints as in like tools, services, APIs that are live on X402. So like services that accept this type of payment. You could access them all through just like the platforms you use. So you don't have to build an agent. You could just integrate payment MCP and use Claude or whatever your LLM platform of choice is to interact with them. In terms of like investment, I can't say anything towards that, but I'll tell you that I was wrong about endpoints being coined and tokenized. Before it went parabolic, someone told me about that idea. I was like, this is actually great if you market it as like a Belief alternative, where Belief went after helping like Silicon Valley startups like tokenize their company or like tokenize an app. Like I still don't get it, but they were right. And so when someone told me about doing the same thing with API endpoints, I was like, this actually makes more sense to me because there is actually utility to those endpoints potentially, but it doesn't make sense in the sense that as a developer, I want a stable amount for purchasing your services. I don't want it to be $1 to make a video today, and then tomorrow it's $10 because DJs decided to ape into it. And if you're making an API to adjust the price based on transaction, then what's the point? Why not just make a stable coin? But people are tokenizing endpoints. People
Who
are buying
tokenized
it.
endpoints though? Like, how
Who's
was
doing it?
Yeah. Can you show an example?
Hell no.
Okay.
You trying to get me fired?
No. I'm just curious. Sorry.
No. Yeah, I mean, like, I think if you go to just X402 scan that shows the activity on X402 protocol, you would find that probably most of the spikes happening are because of degens trading into these coins related to X402,
Okay.
as opposed to actually using it to make agentic commerce happen. So
Okay.
Hey, can I ask a question?
yeah.
I'm not technical. I have no idea about like coding, developing, none of that. What I do know is I'm aware of AI, obviously, ChatGPT, Claude. What's the? Because it seems like you're just making an agent that can do stuff for you. I don't think. Okay. So what's the difference between using this as an agent, like this being its own little agent that allows you to do stuff on your behalf, versus like MCP agents that are already out there? Like, isn't that what they're doing as well?
Yeah, they would. The only difference here is like for me to hypothetically use all those MCPs, the idea here is like an autonomous agent shouldn't need to like figure out how to configure itself. It should be able to openly pay for those MCPs. And if we want true autonomy, it doesn't make sense for a human to be in the loop setting up all those MCPs prior to the agent working. So in an ideal world, we're not there yet. My agent would have its own wallet and could pay for any MCP server it needs through this X402 protocol and then utilize them whenever it needs it. So it would go out there, discover like, hey, okay, this is the task I need to get done. Hence, this is the MCP I need to use. So I'm going to pay it like 1 cent or whatever to execute that one task.
But you'd still be providing a task to the agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the difference would be that this agent just has a wallet.
Sorry, I'm not following. So like, you, like as a user, yeah, like you're still like saying, hey, go create me a like a user-generated AI content, right? So like I'm still asking it something, but right now how we're doing that is that I need to go create that agent that is capable of creating user-generated content. But in a world where like all these endpoints, MCPs, tool providers, services, inference providers, they're all accepting this payment method, then instead of me trying to create the agent that is specialized at creating a user-generated content, my LLM would just call the other LLM, other agent, other endpoint that is capable of providing such services without any pre-configuration of these MCPs.
Okay, so it just takes the middleman out.
Exactly.
Okay. Are the results better that way? I would assume they would be like
the end
worse.
result's going to be similar. It's like how you're getting from A to B. Because it's still going to be like if I go to let's put it this way, if I go to Midjourney to create an image, it's going to be the same as if I had an MCP configured in my Claude code to generate the image through, I don't even know if Midjourney has an MCP, but if they did, I would have to add the MCP capability as a human to my LLM to be able to access that. The idea here is that if my agent had this capability of paying for the services and Midjourney was accepting that payment for the image, I don't have to go configure my MCP. I don't have to go to that platform, create an account, top up my balance, whatever else I need, and then go to my agent, configure the information for my agent to be able to call it finally. It would just happen directly.
So it'd just be communicating not through an account. I guess it would be an account, but just a separate way.
No, it just doesn't need an account anymore. It's like the API call itself is handling the payment. There is no API key, there's no barrier token, there is no pre-credit top-up on Midjourney. I would just say use Midjourney's X402 endpoint to create an image, and it will go do it. I don't need to add an MCP capability. I don't need to go to Midjourney to create an account and configure it. And ideally, you wouldn't even say go use Midjourney's X402 endpoint. You would say I need an image made, and it would search whatever endpoints are available to it through X402, and that's where the discovery comes in. And they say, hey, I could do it through FAL, I could do it through Replicate, I could do it through Hugging Face, I could do it through Midjourney. Here are the prices. Here are like what my recommendations are. And I'll be like, okay, pick the first one. But if these endpoints didn't exist on 402, then I would have to create an account with each of those, configure them as an MCP for my agents to be having this capability of accessing those tools and services.
So these endpoints would be used by multiple people, right? What could it slow down? Could it get bogged down?
Like the API calls?
Yeah.
I mean, the API calls that's not going to change. It's like it's the same API call you would have otherwise made. The difference here is like you're standardizing all those calls to have the same scheme instead of every call looking different. And you're taking out the part where I need an API key or a barrier token to make that call. And you're taking out the part where I need to have an account and a balance with that particular provider to be able to make the call. Does that make sense?
Sorta. Sorry. Are these like generated per account? Because they wouldn't be like, as you said, there's no accounts being made.
Right.
So these calls being made, like an API key, when I need one, I generate one specifically for my account.
Exactly.
I know nobody else is using that API key.
Exactly.
So in this case, these endpoints that you're talking about, are these public endpoints? Are these generated per user?
They're payment protected public endpoints. So anyone can call them, but you don't need rate limiting anymore because they're pay gated. So it's like if you want to call it, it's going to return the 402 error saying, hey, you can't call this, but you got to pay this much.
So as long as somebody has a balance, they can take over.
Yeah, the only idea here is like the endpoint is accessible universally and publicly, but it's pay gated, and those payments happen through this 402 call, and that's where the X402 is utilizing this HTTP 402 status code that is a part of like the internet as we know it, to utilize that as a way of saying, hey, we don't need an API key for every single provider. We don't need an API key. Kind of losing my track of thoughts here. We don't need an API key. You could just pay per use, whatever that platform might be. So it's not like changing the API structure of the platform at all. It's just wrapping it to ask for a payment request once it's called.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just not technical.
No, me neither. So I'm just trying to do my best to
But
explain.
I'm just like,
sorry if I did a bad
Just
job.
one quick question. Me not being technical, I understand like a call is being made, and if it's being processed as a payment, right? It would take one payment after another. So there would be like a time issue, right?
No, so okay, like let me explain
Unless
to you.
it's
So
running in
like,
parallel.
okay, say today, I hope I could use Midjourney as an example. We're using it a lot. I'll call Midjourney today, standard API call, which is like when we say an API call, it's like think of an API call as in like if you go to a restaurant, you're not gonna go to the back and ask the chef for a steak. You're gonna have a servant come to you. Sorry, servant's a bad word to say. A waiter come to you, and you ask the waiter, it's like, hey, can I have a steak, please? And the waiter goes and places your order, and later comes out with a steak. An API call is similar to that. So, as a requester, I would say, hey, I want to generate this image. The API takes that request to the server. In this case, not like the kitchen, and the kitchen would create the steak, in this case the data, the whatever is being generated, and then return it back. So that's not changing at all here. It's only the payment method that is getting wrapped. It's like, okay, you could talk to the kitchen as long as you pay $1 instead of creating a profile with my hosts saying, hey, this is my name, this is my number, I have a seat at table 12. Now can I please order steak? You just basically pay as you go. So it's like a buffet where I don't have to take a sit anymore. I'll just go to the stand, I'll buy my food right there, and I leave. There's no sitting, there's no asking for my information. What's my name, what's my number?
That makes sense. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You could ask me more. I'm sorry if I'm doing a bad job. I'm trying my best.
So let's say I'm on a website and I want to buy a book, and I press on pay. So then I'm making that call, that 402 call, that the server reply with, okay, if you want to buy the book, you just have to pay that amount, and it could be in fiat or crypto. So that's the set of rules.
Pretty much,
that
yeah.
That are getting triggered as soon as I click pay.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
That will be the user-siding face of it. So, for example, like this is, I guess, one of the most talked about examples because we all kind of feel it. Whenever I see an article from like a journal that is monthly subscription, I'm like, I don't want to subscribe for $5 a month. Just let me read this thing for $1. That's where 402 becomes interesting on a human side use case where you could just pay per request. On a human side, just like, hey, here's my $1, show me this article. Don't make me sign up, don't make me subscribe, don't make me make commitments. It doesn't even need to be AI, that's the point. It's like 402 it's just a payment protocol, it's not agent specific.
So in traditional like development though, like 402 is an error code, right?
Right.
But are you saying that X402 is also an error code? Like if you send a request without money, it'll show you that? Or it's like...
It's not a different error code. It's actually using 402 itself. It's just when you get the error, now it has an understanding of how to pay to respond to that error.
So ideally, you should not actually get X402 because it's an error code, right? Like... You should send the request with the money, and then you should expect not to receive 402,
so
right?
Well, this is where the agentic part comes in. So if you already know what the request is, maybe, like I'm not technical enough to know if the protocol doesn't actually expect that back and forth dance. But if I know what it is, perhaps I could make a direct call and not get a 402. But when this is where the agents come in, because the agent doesn't know the payment schema. The idea is that as a human, I shouldn't pre-configure those information. So I shouldn't be saying, hey, this is the endpoint you're using. This is the amount the endpoint is asking. This is the payment supported options for paying. So what happens is that the agent goes to that endpoint, and then it sees, oh, I can only access this if I pay this amount through one of these payment options. So then it understands the call it should make, and that's why you don't need this pre-configuration of having to set an understanding up for the agent to succeed. It could just dynamically adjust to what it needs to do in order to get the data it wants.
And like 402 would return like the wallet
402
address.
returns
it
the
would return
payment
the amount,
scheme.
the amount, and all this
Exactly.
information to
Yeah,
that
it
agent.
returns with the expectations it has from you in order to deliver you the tool services information, whatever.
So it would make the call without knowing like the expected procedure.
Exactly.
402 would kind of be like an error message with the payment scheme and stuff.
Precisely.
And then the AI agent would know what to do after
exactly.
Can you like remind us what the regular code or like messages for 402?
The regular messages?
Yeah, like 404, like everyone knows 404, like file not found. What is... Sorry.
Oh, so what is 402
He's
for?
laughing when I said 404. What is 402 again?
Payment request error.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
so
it's like
just
specifically
like
for payment.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
so
that's
just
good.
like 404 is like data
Yeah.
not found.
Yeah.
Or 200 success.
Yeah.
404 is 402 is payment request.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I ask something? I'm still interested in like the facilitator opportunities. I think that's like a big. How are endpoints being indexed mostly now? Like how is publicly?
I mean, you have to look into individual projects. So
Fair enough.
I don't know who are the active players in that field, but our product is called the Bazaar, and right now it's just basically developers configuring in their code, setting it to be discoverable.
Yeah.
Which we don't need that, and we're gonna work on that because like our facilitator is aware of all the active endpoints. There's no point for the developers to, but like it went viral like kind of out of nowhere. We weren't expecting like 402 to go big like when it did, so we didn't have a chance to improve that service.
Can you use 402 on Polymarket yet?
Not that I'm aware of, but there's probably some degen out there who've set it up. Like if you just like, honest to God, like just go to X and search Polymarket X402. If it's not live, it's gonna be live tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have a question.
We can do maybe two more questions.
Yeah, I got a question. Can you speak on the, I guess, version 2 of the X402 spec?
I wish. I asked our head engineer for a V2 for dummies. I still haven't got one. But my understanding is that it's going to expand the ability to have different schemes. So like different, different token standards going to be supported, I think. So it doesn't have to be a 309 anymore. I think Fiat is going to be part of it. There is this thing called extensions, which is going to enable more capabilities. I just don't understand how yet. And there's a new thing called merchants. I also don't understand. But like, I need to just read up on it more. I'm a product guy, just so you know.
This would require mass adoption, though, right? Like if they decide not to, it's useless then.
100%. And like the thing is like, this is gonna happen regardless. Like agents need to transact. Question is like, who's gonna be the one like handling how they do it? as like a person who was like super skeptical of like, oh, big corp, they're gonna come and take monopoly. Like, that was me when X42 came out, and after joining the team, I could just tell you from my experience, like they're just like genuine people who are, have like the best of intentions. The people I work with, but I can't tell like that's gonna happen like when this moves to the foundation. But what I could tell you is like just a very act of like, okay, let's take a step back and let this like baby go to its own like foundation and be stewarded by other entities that aren't just like the companies. That's the positive. I could see them actively being on like Telegram, Discord, listening to the developers, taking their feedback. The GitHub is open sourced, so if anyone's gonna do it, I rather someone does it that is like being transparent about it and being non-opinionated or not favoring something. So a lot of people are like, oh, X42 is for base. Well, no, it's on Solana. It's on like AVAX or whatever. Hypercore now. Thank you, and shout out Andrew. So like, I'd much rather have a like whoever's that player is gonna be. I'd much rather it will be a player that is gonna be like taking people's feedback, being transparent and open about it, as opposed to like other players that we know are working on this stuff, but no one knows like how's it gonna work, what are the payment requirements, what are the payment options, where is the code, you know, like who are making these decisions. We don't even know who's working on it. Like, so someone's gonna do it. I hope these guys do it. At least personally, I hope they do it. That's a pure personal comment, by the way.
Can you show the tab with the decentralized AI agent? Like
decentralized.
I was just kind of curious, like what kind
Quest
of
flow.
Yeah, what kind of agents are in here? Like, what are these for? Like, I saw one for Zora and one for like.
Yeah, so maybe this would help like see the value prop. So like here, like the user has to like select these agents, right? So I'm still not pre-configuring anything. I'm not creating an account with any of these platforms like I would normally. If I was to use, for example, this SEO tool, I would have to create an account, right? Right now, I'm still like selecting, hey, Sora 2, the KYC product with Haitu, just to generate video. So ideally, I wouldn't even have to pre-select these things, which is like something we could have. And I would just ask for a video to be made, and it's gonna look like, oh, my most reliable, best quality video tool is Sora 2. So I'm gonna use that to create a video. There's going to be an orchestrator model, and that orchestrator model could have biases of like what services it uses, but then that's your platform's choices.
So what does the Zora agent do? Can you coin something?
Probably.
Okay, because I mean the reason I was asking about who's tokenizing endpoints is just because I'm curious as to like how liquidity.
What are the endpoints?
Yeah, what the endpoints are. When you bring up Believe as it being like a launchpad platform, it's like it's how a lot of liquidity gets on networks. I mean the reason I'm asking about Polymarket too is just because I do think there's a lot of potential for like microeconomic stuff.
Yeah.
Emergence of new markets that could actually bring like a lot of liquidity. So
100%.
It's all about liquidity, really. Is kind of what I'm saying. So if people can execute tasks like that and bring more liquidity onto networks, that can be what can incentivize people to use X402 more, I think, too. So
Yeah.
to me, that's interesting. Like the long tail.
Yeah, no, it
microeconomic
100%
stuff.
goes hand in hand. Like a lot of people's in the space hate on like traders or whatever, or DJs, but like we own them a lot for popularizing Web3. Solana, if it didn't have these meme coins, I don't know how they would have landed Cash App. Because like,
yeah,
you know, so like all of that volume brings attention, and then with the attention, if you're genuine chain, genuine builder, genuine app.
Sorry, what do you mean about Cash App?
Cash App isn't Cash App integrated Solana now?
Really?
Wasn't that it?
Well, because
Right.
Cash App is like a Square product.
Yeah, but they integrated stable coins, I think, and those stable coins are on Solana.
Through Solana, okay.
Yeah. I think
Interesting.
so. Don't quote me. I'm
Yeah, it's all
pretty
good, yeah.
sure that happened. But as to your question about endpoints, you could head to just x402.com,
Okay, cool.
x402scan.com to find some endpoints.
I think we got one more question. Yeah, go for it.
More question.
You guys buying me a drink after
Yeah,
this?
yeah. Let's go afterwards, man.
Tell Eric to promote Ash.
Okay. Okay. So, what are your thoughts from a user perspective of actually funding their AI agent with like real money, like just trusting that the transactions will go through, or there's like a way for them to like get their money back, or like the agent will even do what like you tell it to do with your money, and it will just like run away or bug out, and you just wasted like $200, you know?
I mean, I'm not familiar with prompt injections, but they're definitely a thing. So that's a case. But in terms of like how much money I trust with my agent, it's like how much money I'm topping up in my wallet. So that's like totally up to me. And if you're actually customizing your own agent, so you've actually built an agent, you could set spend permissions. Using server wallets, you could like have very granular level control over that. And when you're also making an X42 call, it's giving permission spent on that call. So it's like you could only take up to 1 cent, or you could only take up to $1. So on that transaction, you're not just giving permission to take whatever you want. You're giving a specific allowance to the seller.
But like a user might just want to use someone else's AI agent that they made, and you give it money. Like that seems kind of crazy, in my opinion. Like, would they actually do that, or?
I mean, that's where I guess like brand trust comes in. Like, why would you give your money to the bank, bro? Like, we trust the bank, so like I wouldn't give my money to an agent provided by a dodgy website either. No, like.
Trust me, bro.
Cool. Thank you, Ash. That was
Thanks for
great.
having me. Thanks for having me.
And yeah, thank you guys for coming out. Be here next week. We have another talk. I can't remember who's talking or what's it about, but.
And when did you say Eric was gonna come?
3 weeks.
Okay,
weeks in
cool.
December. If you can help stack the chairs on your way out,